Hey everyone, either welcome back or welcome to my channel. And in today's video, I want to talk about how instead of thinking we're faking it when we have chronic illness and we look okay, we're actually faking being well. So before I get into any more details, time for the intro. One of the things that people might not realize about those of us with chronic illness is how much we often fake being well. The amount of times you have to push through not feeling great is actually quite numerous. I've had this happen even on days where I've had appointments and all of that, and you feel like you're not able to really focus in those appointments because you don't feel well. You might not realize that I'm actually faking being well. So IIH and migraines are invisible illnesses. This means that it may not be quite obvious that I'm even sick either unless I tell you. With migraines, it can become obvious if somebody is nauseous and the nausea leads to more. However, with IIH, it's almost not visible at all. I know that sometimes you might be able to see dark circles under my eyes, but sometimes that's just lighting. So it makes you look even more tired. I don't know if you guys follow me on Instagram, I'll often post selfies after I'm done a workout just to say I got on a workout today. I'm feeling fairly good. And you'll notice that there's really, really dark circles underneath my eyes. Some of that is because I'm tired after doing those workouts, but a lot of it honestly is the lighting. So if you get your lighting right, you can actually make those dark circles almost disappear. When I was first losing weight, I would do a workout no matter how bad I was feeling. I said unless I was feeling dizzy and or just physically couldn't move, I was getting a workout. It's something that you can hide actually quite easily. I know that if I'm out in public for just half an hour or so that it's quite easy to say, oh yeah, everything's great, everything's fine. When I'm asked about how I'm feeling or how I'm doing, I feel like there's an obligation for me to explain, well, I'm not really doing much of anything because I'm dealing with these health issues right now. I know I don't have to disclose that to people, but I feel like it's leaving out critical information at that point in time. It puts me in a place where I feel like I have to disclose what's going on with my IIH and migraines, and I'm not always in the mood to do that. Number one, IIH is very, very hard to actually explain to people without really any medical background. IIH is difficult to explain in a couple of sentences what it is. Unless people see me lying down with my helmet on, I don't think it's very obvious that I'm not feeling well. The amount of times that I push through not doing things is more numerous than the times of I actually decide to take a break because I don't want to push myself too far. I'm really, really bad at pushing through and doing too much. I've talked about this in other videos about why this happens, but a big reason for that is just often seeing where I am and how I'm feeling and what I'm able to tolerate. But some of it is I'm just not aware of the part where I'm pushing myself too far. So that's another reason why that tends to happen. A lot of people, when they get frustrated with somebody who lives with something like, especially migraines, is they get frustrated because we end up canceling plans all of a sudden. We end up backing out last minute. We end up not being able to go places with them. It's one of the reasons why we lose friends all the time. It's one of the reasons why we lose contact with family, actually, too. And they then will, under their frustration, say, oh, well, you're just faking it. You're not actually that sick. You're just trying to get out of doing this thing. Now, as an introvert, I kind of blame introverts like myself because they tend to do the same thing but do it for a different reason. So when you're highly introverted, if you do too much, you get overwhelmed. With introversion, it's too much stimuli and you end up being exhausted. With chronic illness, it's a little bit the same, but it's different too because you just don't have the energy to actually push through a situation like an introvert might be able to do. But the effects are very similar, actually. So now that I'm an introvert, actually, with a chronic illness, my ability to go out and socialize is diminished quite significantly, actually. People think that when you have to cancel last minute, you're doing it because you've changed your mind, you don't want to do it anymore, when in fact, for those of us with chronic illness, the case is we've had a sudden onset of symptoms, which happens all the time. Like I said, one of the hardest things about living with chronic illness is the fact that there's a huge amount of uncertainty. You can plan and plan the best you can, and you can take the breaks that you need to before a large event, but sometimes, even when you do the best you can and plan the best in advance, on the day of that event, you can't do it because you're just not able to do it. You're having a bad day. Now, I know that people get really frustrated when this happens. I can understand that. But honestly, if we're going through a really rough time to the point where we're saying, I can't make it, I physically cannot make it, you're better off leaving those particular friends or family alone and letting them get through that rough time than pushing them to actually come to that event, because they're going to be quite miserable if they do happen to feel the peer pressure to come. We're not fun to be around when we're experiencing such hard symptoms to deal with. It's not fun. It's not fun for me, the person experiencing it, but sometimes I actually wonder if it's harder on the people who are closest to me, because I get really, really irritable, really grumpy, and I'm not your friend to be around. The more often that this goes on, the better we get at it. And this is a very, very difficult thing to describe. It is a very common thing, though, about living with a chronic illness, especially like migraines, because there are points that you actually have to get things done. You can't hold off on things forever. We'll eventually be able to come to something and enjoy your company. And there's nothing more that we love more than being around our family and friends. It's, as I said, and have emphasized, living with IIH and migraines and other types of chronic illnesses is very isolating, because it's a thing that you're going through on your own. So even with that good support system around you, you feel alone because nobody else is really experiencing what you are. They'll try their best, and I don't want people to give up with the compassion and all of that. It's just, even when you're the best support system, there's probably going to be a point where those of us with chronic illness feel isolated. It comes with the territory of not being able to get out. It comes with the territory of not being able to have a normal life. In my opinion, it comes with the territory of not being able to pass major life milestones at a point where you feel like you should be. Don't stop inviting your friends out, but understand that there will be times, likely, when that person around you is not feeling well and they're pushing through it. I know with some larger events that I've pushed through not feeling well either. And your tolerance and the way you are around those family and friends, you kind of regret how you behaved afterwards because you weren't yourself. You were dealing with this thing that they have no idea what it's like to live with. If you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to leave one down below. If you've made it this far in the video, don't forget to subscribe. Click that notification bell, turn your notifications to all so you never miss another video. Be sure to share this video. If you're watching on Instagram or Facebook, be sure to like and follow. Don't forget to share as well. And as for now, that's it for today. Bye everyone.